Well, you got to come and play every night. On any given night, anybody in our league can be beat.
What do you feel like, obviously, these last 3 games, y'all are, getting wins, playing well. What do you feel like has been the biggest key?
I think it's starting to click on the defensive side. I think, we understand that we got to play as a team and we got to guard, like, their best players as a team. Can't leave nobody on the island to guard by themselves, and we got to execute on offense. But most of all, our defense leads to our offense.
Y'all are 4-1 in conference on the road.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the key there for you guys to play so well? And I look back at the Iowa State game, and there's almost 12,000 in there, and y'all just didn't seem rattled.
Yeah, I think we do a really good job of preparing. Our scout is really elaborate. We are usually locked in. We know how important it is to get road dubs, so just got to be ready, and thanks to our coaches, we are.
Are you done with the mask, or do you
No.
still have to keep wearing it?
I got a new one today, actually. It's really, really ugly. But yeah, I got to keep wearing it, unfortunately.
It's like Darth Vader, or what?
Yep, it sure is.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's not cool. It's not.
How motivated are you by the fact that Taylor Robertson, both of you, this is for both of you, that she's the all-time leading three-point scorer in NCAA history? What does that bring to you in your mind for this game? Does it motivate you? What's the deal?
You got to respect her. She can shoot that thing from anywhere, the other side of the baseline, the logo, from out of bounds. She can shoot it from anywhere, but, congrats to her for doing that, but you got to respect her game behind the arc.
Yeah, it's really important that we get out on her, not let her get shots up, get over screens, all that.
Well, is there any, in the scouting report, is there any talk of trying to deny her the ball, or you're just on her super tight when she gets it?
I don't know if we play a such thing as deny. I think we play gap and support defense. I think, we do respect her and know that she can shoot the three, but I don't think we'll ever make a huge change. We just respect her and know she can shoot the three.
And it's probably the dream team that has to guard her more than you do, but I'm sure you've had to guard Sarah as well.
Mm-hmm.
What makes her so tough?
Sarah is just a bucket. Sarah is so good, and I tell her this every day, and she's like, no, I'm not good, because she's humble. But she's, so tough, and it's, sneaky tough. So it's whether or not she'll get her hand on defense, she'll get her hands in there, and you won't even know, you, don't even realize. And then on offense, she's shifty, she hits shots, and her court vision is crazy. Yeah, you're my idol.
Thanks, Darth Vader.
Have you learned some of those things from Sarah and even other people on the team, just learning the Baylor way of basketball and the pace? And, you're someone I would say is similar to Jamie as far as your speed. You've got the speed in you and the tough defense. So just being around them, how has that helped you grow as a player? Yeah,
when I first got here, Sarah definitely took me under her wing and helped me out with plays and when I was confused, because it's a whole new offense for me. And she's been really helpful with that always, and she's super kind about it, so that's my favorite part.
What was the crowd like in Ames? It was really big, and hope maybe to get a little taste of that tomorrow night here at the Farrell Center.
It was fun, but we need our fans to come out and be like that tomorrow night. I don't think they understand, tomorrow night they'll make a huge difference because, in that atmosphere, you feed off that energy. You love playing in games where, the fans so engaged. Even we're on the road, but, it was fun because, you're just able to shut the crowd down when you walk away with a road win with a crowd like that. So I just think it's fun to have fans like that.
Sarah, for the team, when you have a player who really explodes in the second half, you did that a couple times when you won the Big 12 Player of the Week earlier, but for Jamie, how big was her second half, that inside game for the team in the win Saturday?
Jamie, she can go off at any given moment. We want her to do that more. We want to see it in the first half and the second half. But I think, she's starting to see it and it's starting to click. Okay, I can get here. She's starting to find those spots and, knock down the mid-range. And now you got to guard her from the three, the mid-range layup. So I think now people are having to figure out, now how do I guard her? I can't just guard her for the three-point. But I'm finally, I'm glad to see her playing like that. And, she's clicking at the right time now.
Did that surprise you that she didn't even take a three-point attempt? I'm not sure if she would have had a game like that in her career.
It did surprise me, but Jamie's more than a three-point shooter. she's more than just an offensive player. She brings it on defense. I think she has the overall package on both sides, defense and offense.
Would you all say there's more emphasis on transition defense for this game than most any that you've played?
I think, kind of them and Iowa State kind of play similar. They both shoot the ball really well from the perimeter, and they have multiple spots that can shoot the three. So I think, yes, it kind of got us ready against Iowa State to have to guard the three-point line because on the offensive rebound for them, they're looking to kick it out for a wide-open three. So I think, on transition, we have to squeeze on certain spots where we know shooters and where they're going to try to look to shoot the ball.
For either of you, what's it like playing with Bugs? And I mean, we were talking about she's a shoo-in to win Freshman of the Week every week. So what makes her so talented?
Our freshmen, I wouldn't even call them freshmen this late in the season, because they truly don't play like it. Bugs surprises me each game because, she'll make a move, and I'm like, whoa, she's still a freshman, which is she has so much more to prove. And Bella, I think, them two together is like a knockout punch. You got to pick your poison. They feed off each other so well, but I'm just so proud of them because they don't play like freshmen. Guarding Ashley Jones is not an easy assignment. They haven't had easy assignments like guarding those type of players at this type of level, but they've stepped up to the plate and, showed up each night.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'd just say they're gritty and they're tough and they're not freshmen. They are, and with more experience, they're gonna be even better than they are now, and that's pretty scary.
Jenna, at the midway point in conference play kind of area, what would you say you've taken away from this conference we talked about?
Yeah, I would say the competitiveness of the conference was shocking to me. I'd heard that everybody can be everybody in it, and that's true. And I really didn't know that because in the Pac-12 there's kind of there's a hierarchy, so it's fun. You got to really prepare. You got to go in with the right mindset.
Anything else?
All right, now, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all better be in that crowd now.
I think our focus has been good. I don't think any of them have been pretty. I don't know that we're a pretty team right now, but finding ways to grind out wins. We're always gonna have to do it a little defensively and taking away other people's strengths. I thought, at Iowa State we were really focused on keeping Jones off the boards. Maybe it's because she made all her shots to start the game that she didn't there were any offensive rebounds to get. But I thought we did a really good job on Emily Ryan, and her point differential in wins versus losses is significant. So we didn't put them on the line, in a team that shoots over 80% as a team. So it's kind of like looking at each opponent and, taking away, option one at least, and finding ways to make enough baskets to win the game.
I'm curious, do you address your team differently about crowd situations, like going to Iowa State, which is double the crowd these girls have probably ever played before, and louder? Do you talk to them about that beforehand?
Yeah, we spent the 2-day prep before. We stayed in our practice gym and cranked crowd noise in, and made sure they understood all our play calls, signals, because a lot of times you can call them and they can hear them, but every play we have also has a signal, so I can call them with my hand. I found out real quickly that I couldn't call horns with my left hand because they thought it was one. So, we noticed things like that. But I think that was a big part of it. We talked a lot about poise. I used the timeout in the first half on a run that maybe I wouldn't have if we were at home, because you want to keep the crowd at bay. But that was a lot of it, really talking about being poised, about another opportunity to play on ESPN. I didn't think we had played our best when we played on ESPN against Texas. So it was just another chance to kind of redeem ourselves. We've played a lot of top 25 teams this season. People didn't realize what a good win Villanova was when we won that game. And I tried to tell the tournament director way back this summer when they were coming out with it that I potentially thought that could be a final. And no disrespect to Michigan. I think Michigan's put a heck of a season together, but I knew I had that much respect for Villanova. And so when Villanova went on the road to UConn and had them down 5 with like 4 minutes to go, it just kind of proved, that they're really, really good. So, I think they're all opportunities, and I think we've played more top 25 opponents than anyone in our league. So, it's just we're always learning, we're always growing, and if they really buy into like we don't lose, we either win or we learn, then we'll get better each game.
You mentioned the hot start that Ashley Jones got off to, and then you look at her final numbers and 9 for 22 or whatever it
Right.
was. And it was Bella and Bugs mostly on her. Right?
Yeah, until the 4th. We wanted to put Caitlin on her in the 4th, but that was still scary because of foul trouble. So, but the goal was always to get to the 4th and then put Kate on her in the 4th.
What does it say about what Bella and Bugs, did?
Yeah, I mean they're growing up. I thought we only gave up 5 threes, and when I put Bugs in the game, she gave up 2 in a row. One to Jones and then one to Diao. How do you say her name? Do. Let me say her name right. Do. So, I think after that, like understanding how close you have to be, what your closeout has to look like. And certainly, Ashley Jones feels like she has a post advantage with them as well, which, when Kane's in the game, we had Kate sitting down there just helping. But when Dew came in the game, which they started for that very reason, I'm sure, that kept us pretty stretched out, and she had probably the game of her life. So, I mean, she's had some really, really good games for them since Sora's got hurt, but that was clearly her best.
Nikki, you mentioned the rankings. Do you use, is that a chip, or does it bother you at all that you aren't in the top 25?
It doesn't bother me from the perspective of I really only care about the game in front of us, and we have another chance to play against a ranked opponent, and that's what matters to me right now. Do I think teams with similar records that have won as many games against top 25 opponents, that have won as many games against top 25 opponents on neutral floors or road games, do I think we deserve to be ranked? Sure, I do. At the same time, I really only care about winning the game in front of us, and and being where we need to be at the end of the season. A conference championship means a whole lot more to me than a number in front of our name. A conference championship means another ring and a 1 in front of our name. So, that's the goal, and we can only get to that goal if we attack the one game in front of us. I'm a little surprised, because there was a lot of teams lost. That we didn't jump in there, but ton of respect for South Florida who got in there. I'm not going to sit here and talk about who shouldn't be but I think you've watched teams lose 3 or 4 games and then win 3 or 4, and before you know it, they're back up around 10. So we just got to play the game in front of us.
Nikki, as her coach, you probably have to keep her humble, but with Bugs basically being the shoe-in for like Big 12 freshman of the week every single week, has it sunk in for you that you might be coaching one of the next maybe great Baylor players?
I mean, I see a lot of greatness in her. I also see a lot of growth opportunities in her, and I think that, look, she's gotten double-doubles, and to me, if there were 15 freshmen playing in the league, she probably would have won this award multiple times. But when you look at this league and you look at the depth and the upper class strength of this league, you got a lot of teams that aren't even playing freshmen. So when we played Texas Tech, it's kind of like their 2 freshmen and our 2 freshmen are winning the lion's share of the awards because they're the ones playing the most minutes. There are a lot of teams in this league that don't even play any freshmen. And so, I think that's part of it, but I think she's earned them. And I told her, even though she wears number 5, to not be just, happy with this being her 5th award, that 6 and 7 are fine too. Because that just means she's being productive. And I think the key for Bugs is, like you look at the OU game the last time, she went 1 for 1 and fouled out in 9 minutes. So I think, and that was at home in front of a lot of fans, She had a lot of people at that game. So I'm sure she's excited to play this game. It's been a unique challenge for both of those freshmen. When you look at some of the people that they've had to guard this year and the strength of that position, even in our league, whether it's Gaston from Texas or Maddie Williams or Ashley Jones, that is a tough position to put our freshmen in and game out. And so Breamber Scott, who's leading the league in scoring. So, it's like baptism by fire, for them. And I'm just proud that they show up and keep competing. And maybe they don't know what they don't know, but they're competing against All-American type kids on a regular basis.
Bugs had some pretty big, couple of buckets laid, a couple offensive rebounds and a block. Are you seeing her grow in confidence in late game situations?
I do think she gets better as the game goes along. I mean, I think when you come in the game and you give up back-to-back threes and then someone posts you up and beats you on the low block, it can be a little frustrating. But the thing about these guys is that we don't have any choice. I mean, Caitlin's in foul trouble, Bella fouls out, and we were running actions late. And how Iowa State was in man, but they were pretty focused on Sarah, and they were pretty focused on Jamie off of screens. And so, it was dump downs. It wasn't like we were asking them to make, a lot of necessarily difficult plays. They were just layups in difficult moments. And, I thought one of the big plays of the game was her rip drive, left-handed layup. And we've got to really work with her on keeping that pivot foot down on that play, but certainly showed some confidence in that moment. And she's been in a lot of late game situations, so she should be, building confidence in that area.
Actually, she should have got 2 blocks on the same block.
Yeah. And that was and you have to learn how to defend Ashley Jones. You're just not done on the first action. She waits for you to wall up, and that's when she plays under your armpit and draws a foul. And so we'd really talk to him about halftime about, you've got to stay in a stance and you've got to be ready to slide until it leaves her hand. And I thought she did that. And I'm telling you, over time, that she's going to grab that ball. Like one of them, she blocked it, and you said she knocked it out of bounds. Eventually, she's going to grab that ball, and we're going to go the other way. And that's growth opportunity. But that was a big play for her because they were certainly going at her. They were going at Bella on the low block, whether it was with Kane or whether it was with Dew or whether, they were going down in there and saying, you're going to have to defend us on the low block.
About OU, I mean, you saw them once already. Have they changed much since a month ago?
No, and they haven't changed a lot since last year. They just play really fast and they shoot it really well. Taylor Robertson's numbers are way up in conference play in terms of, not that we ever didn't think she was a great shooter, but ironically her three-point percentage for her was way down, career low. In the non-conference, she's back up to like 49% from 3 in conference play, making 3 a game. Lanús had started playing really, really well before we played them and, went on a long streak of, double-figure scoring games. And, they're going to tweak some things. They're going to, they've put Taylor Robertson in a few more ball screens in transition. They've, tweaked a little bit out of, their end of quarter situation, but there's not a lot different. They just have really talented players that are really good in space. And the thing that, to me, they're exceptionally good at is not only end-to-end pace, but their sideline-to-sideline pace is really, really good. They cut hard. They screen with a purpose. They make you work. And they can certainly run down and score in the first 8, but they can also break you down over the course of a possession by moving the ball side to side. So they are really, really talented offensively, and their pace is really special.
Nikki, you mentioned Bugs fouling out so quickly a while ago. I was looking back at the stats from that first game. Baylor had 26 fouls, Oklahoma had 27. Jaden fouled out, Bugs fouled out. They had a couple foul out. Was that exceptionally tough game, or was it closely called, or that's by far the most fouls?
Yeah, it was a little of both. Certainly, I thought, Maddie Williams had a ton of free throws herself. I thought that, I tore this tendon before we played them the last time, demonstrating how they're going to reach and scrap and claw on every rebound, on every drive. They are trained to go get the ball. It's swipes, it's reaches, and if you grab a rebound and you chin and check, you're gonna pick up a foul because they're coming. If you grab a rebound and you're not ready to chin and check, you're either gonna get raked across the arm or they're just gonna get a clean swipe, and so, you don't want to leave it up to whether the official's going to call it, whether it's clean or not clean. And I thought over the course of the game, we picked up a lot of those fouls, partially because we put so much emphasis on, hey, this is something they're going to do. When you catch the ball, like if you expose it, they're just going to grab it. When you drive it into a gap, when they come to help, they aren't coming to help to throw their hands up and play straight up. They are coming to take the ball. And I think it's a mentality that they have. I don't think it's dirty. I just think it's the mentality that they have, that they don't play. I'm always surprised because to me, Liz Scott looks so tall on film. And then she gets out there and you recognize she's maybe 6 foot tall. Maddie Williams is maybe 5'11". So they play with a tenacityness, a scrappiness. And so it's just what they do. They just go after the ball. So I think some of it was that. I thought we did a pretty good job playing downhill. And I think, we fouled them a lot in the lane. We did, and we did. We had Jaden fouled out, Bella fouled out, Bugs fouled out, Kate had 4. Erica went in and fouled 3 times in 10 minutes. Some of them were probably tough calls, and the majority of them were probably fouls.
Nikki, with some of the significant injuries that you guys have dealt with this year, what was it like to watch John come back onto the court, and how can you use that as inspiration for some of your players?
I think he's an inspiration in general, but I think, before he ever got injured, if you weren't inspired by his work ethic, you're never going to be inspired. So his comeback is the least shocking thing since I've been at Baylor. There isn't a day that I haven't seen him in the weight room, getting extra shots up late at night, early in the morning. Everyday John was a nickname for a reason. So I just think he's always been an inspiration in how he plays and how he impacts the game, without being, someone that's a great scorer, but impacts them with how he communicates and his energy. And so, I just think it's a great, hopefully it's a great lift to the men's team. They get someone back that worked that hard to get back to be, a part of this year's team and the push to the end of the season. So, it's a blessing. I think there's, but I don't think it was a blessing without work. I think he had a lot of prayer warriors out there. But you can pray all you want, but, he had to do the work to get back. And Micah and I work out in the mornings and we see him a lot of days, and so, it's an exciting thing for him, for the men. But honestly, not particularly shocking, because if anyone was going to do the work to get back, he was going to do it.
Nikki, that first Oklahoma game, this is an unbelievable stat to me. You had probably your best defensive quarter of the year, held them to 5 in the first quarter, and then the very next quarter, they scored 25.
Mm-hmm.
Did they just get hot? I didn't see the turnovers or anything. I'm just asking the contrast, and that's a big difference in
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a couple things. The foul trouble bothered us. They went zone in the second quarter. Caitlin was out. We were even playing people out of position. Katarina was playing the 4 for us. She hasn't played a lot of 4 this season, but we were doing it because all 3 of our 4s were in foul trouble. I thought we had some turnovers. We had, looking back at it, we were firing 3s. Now, they were wide open 3s against the zone, but we just didn't make any. The first quarter we had created turnovers, we'd created long rebounds, and we got buckets in transition. Didn't have any transition baskets or few transition baskets in the second quarter. But I think our turnovers led to them getting in transition. I think our lineups affected our ability to defend them as well as we did in the first half or the first quarter. So I just think it was a tale of 2 quarters. We didn't make shots. They started to make shots. They got on the offensive glass. So it was a little bit of everything. I've watched it 3 times, but we just couldn't get anything going. We got them all spread out, but couldn't score in the paint. Yeah. And there's nothing magical about it, but they were in man most of the first quarter, maybe the entire first quarter.